This week, Warhammer Community announced something very cool, very poorly. But we have some other news to cover for Warhammer, so without further ado, I'm Angela, you're watching Hobby Night, and let's get to this week's Warhammer news. Before we get into the big news this week, I wanted to go ahead and show off the Kainan's Reaper trailer because it had some really rad music. I think these models look really cool, and I'm going to be painting one of them on the channel probably like next week or so, maybe a week or two away, and I just wanted to shout them out because I really like these models. And I think the Underworld kits are like a really good opportunity for painters to actually just have some fun ways to play with new things and everything. So I really recommend grabbing these kits if you haven't already. I know I'm definitely gonna be picking this one up.
What more is a Space Marine than a sword against the dark?
Remember why we fight.
We've been here long enough.
Mark my words. Let us play. It seems I must remind you of the rules, Adept Neef.
We are the angels of death!
Those that would tear humanity down are legion. Always more blood. But they shall be broken!
Suffering is our prayer.
Prepare for drop pod assault.
We are brothers before any other rank.
Well now, we have a ton of animations in the pipeline coming our way, and let's go ahead and talk about them because they previewed a whole bunch in that Sizzle trailer, and then they went through a variety of what each one is sort of going to be about, starting with Black Talon, which is, if I recall, the one current thing that I know that is specifically going to be for Age of Sigmar specifically. It is about a Stormcast Eternal called Black Talon. I forget what her first name was. And it's basically going to be following her, and that seems pretty rad.
Her last name isn't just Black and her last name isn't Talon?
Sorry, her first name. I don't remember what her first name was. Her last name was Black Talon. So I don't know. I don't remember what her first name was. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. But she seems really cool.
I thought her first name was Black.
Oh, no, it was something else. They kept saying it. It's short. I don't remember what it was, though.
Okay.
So I think it started with an E. But like, she seems really cool. I'm very interested in this because I don't know a lot about the Stormcast Eternal, and an animation series is a perfect way for me to want to get into something like that because it is just like a really solid just way to do a narrative. I'm hoping this is really cool. I'm hoping the animation's neat. They didn't really show us too much of that particular thing, or like with the animation for that. Now, moving on, they then talked about Iron Within, which of course we've seen previewed a little bit and talked a little bit on Warhammer Community previously. And that is going to be about the Iron Warriors, which is going to be very, very cool.
Did they confirm if it was going to be Horus Heresy or not?
They did not. They did not specifically, or at least not that I remember them talking or specifically saying.
Okay.
I think it's post Heresy, because I definitely think they're
chaos.
They're chaos.
Would
Yes.
it be chaos? I don't know. It's just, I think modernly they're very monotonous. So
That
I'm
is-
curious what they're going to be like.
That is true. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what it's going to be. If it's going to be pre-Heresy, post-Heresy, or during Heresy. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see, and that one looks pretty rad. So I'm excited for that one. Then they talked about Altar of Wrath, which is going to be a record of a Black Templar's sin. And I just love that description. They didn't really go too much more into it, but Black Templars are very popular. I think this will be pretty rad, and I think they've shown us either some animatics for it or like a preview, like a trailer maybe
There's
previously.
definitely Templars in the Sizzle reel and some other
Definitely,
stuff.
yeah. But I feel like they've
did
shown
the
us more.
stills.
Yeah, but I feel like they've shown us also more like a longer preview or something. But I can't remember.
They showed us the Crozius Arcana.
That's
and
right,
other
the
things.
turnarounds. Yes, okay, that's what I'm remembering. So that looked really cool, and I liked the look of it. Then we got into High Lords, which is interesting to me because this one's going to be political intrigue, a lot of backstabbing. It's going to actually follow a High Lord of Terra, supposedly, and it sounds like it.
Supposedly, because they didn't show anything.
Yeah, they really didn't show. Like, they showed one animation, and we'll get to that at the end here, other than this Sizzle trailer, but everything else was just audio and then them showing the logo. And it was very lackluster, which is why in the opening I said that they previewed something cool very badly.
Oh my God, chat
Oh
was
my
ready
God.
to eat those two poor
It
men
was
alive.
really bad, you guys. It was really bad. So High Lords of Terror seems interesting, but we don't know much about it. Then we've gotten Broken Lance, which is going to be an Imperial Knight story, which is pretty cool. I actually had hoped, and I don't know why I'd hoped this, because I don't know why they would have Bretonnians in there since they're kind of dead and everything, but I had really hoped when I first saw it, I was like, oh cool, well, they're going to do a Bretonnian story. I'm down for that. I love to see some
You
old world
sweet
stuff.
summer child.
And then I realized, and then they said Imperial Knights, and I was like, oh, that's still very cool, but like, I was really hoping for some actual, like, knights on horseback. But you know, whatever, it's fine, it's cool. I'm sure it'll be rad. Then there's Hammer and Bolter, which we have seen a variety of stuff from previously, which is
shorts.
going to be a lot of short animations, and it's going to be covering a lot of different facets of the Imperium and the world of 40K and everything, because I think there's
It's
stuff.
Age of Sigmar as well.
Oh, is it? Okay, yes,
The
that's
2D Age of Sigmar stuff.
Yes.
From that.
Okay, I was wondering because I was
Okay.
seeing that in the Sizzle trailer and going, where is that going to be? And I forget that's the hammer.
part.
That's the hammer. I'm so dumb sometimes.
That's the thing. It's like there's only one, I think, CG
Yeah.
in the Sigmar series, but I believe
There's
there are
like
two
or three. Yeah. I think
2D.
you're right. And so that's really cool. Hammer Bolt's actually, now that I've realized that that's where some of the Age of Sigmar stuff is going, I'm actually more excited for that than I anticipated originally, because I do like the idea of short stories. Like, when I do read some of the novels, which is, I haven't read a huge amount of them, but some of the few that I have been some of the short story collections that I've read like physically as a book. I've listened to a number of like the larger books and audiobooks, but I have actually read some short story novels, and I really enjoy that. So I actually like the idea of seeing that in an animation format as well. So Bolt and Hammer is looking pretty cool. Let me get my notes back up, sorry.
Bolt and Hammer?
Or Hammer and Bolt, sorry. Hammer and Bolter. I can speak. Moving on. Astartes 2. This one,
Stomp.
oh my
stomp.
God, it was great. This
No,
was
it
my
wasn't.
No, it was great because it was my favorite audio clip, because it wasn't even dialogue from anything. It was literally just, I'm assuming, Astartes clomping around somewhere on a metallic
It
surface.
wasn't even heavy enough. It sounded like a scout.
It might have been, but like, that's all it was. What? It was lame. It was really lame, but also hilarious. I think the chat did get a little bit of a kick out of it, despite being like really angry about everything prior to this, because it was just audio,
Well,
like I said.
Astartes has a history with audio now, because when they transferred it from YouTube,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they removed a lot of the music because it was copyright.
It was from Dread.
Right. And they couldn't use it, so that's why they did it. So, I mean, it makes sense, but
Come on,
it
Carl
sucks.
Urban, help us out here.
Yeah, come on. Okay, so then next there's Integrator, or Interrogator, sorry.
Integrator.
Interrogator, which is going to be a story about an interrogator, go figure, and about how I believe his Inquisitor just died and how he's dealing with that and all this other stuff. The one scene in the Sizzle trailer of a guy punching a wall and going something about blood, there's always blood, I believe that's from this series.
I believe actually that was a Blood Angel Space Marine.
Oh, was it? Okay.
The only reason I say Space Marine is because of the blood thing. The reason it was a Space Marine is one, his back was jacked, but also he had the studs in his forehead that you get for your sergeant and veteran honors.
Oh, I just mistook those, I think, as like random studs that you see in Imperial guys sometimes. I didn't realize that it was an Astartes.
The studs you see in Imperial foreheads normally in Space Marines are, and someone in the comments is going to correct me on all of this, but they are some form of showing your
rank or got it. Okay, that's really cool. Well, regardless, that particular scene was really cool to me. I liked that shot and I liked the animation style there. And I thought I mistook that as an interrogator, but regardless, that show seems really cool as well. And then we've got Exodite, which is the Tau series we've talked about previously. I wish they had shown something from this because we know that they have clips from it. So it would have been nice instead of just doing audio if they had shown a brief 30-second clip or something. I don't know.
One of the hosts said he enjoyed playing the Fire Warrior game as a child, and I have no more respect for him.
I question that as well a little bit. That game was not great. Next up, Pariah's Nexus, which I'm excited for because it's about Necrons, and I do love me some Necrons. Again, I wish they had shown something for it other than just audio. And then, finally, we got to look at Angels of Death. And not only did we get to, they did the little preview of the logo and everything, but for this series, we finally got some animation. And oh my god, it looks really cool. I'm very, very excited for this series. Okay, color palette wise, I love the black and white aesthetic thing that they're doing with the pops of red. I love that it's about blood angels. I'm super pumped for the story. I believe it's going to be following a captain called Orfeo, and he is a former Death Watch, has come back and he's dealing with some shit. So it's gonna be really cool. I do have one major criticism for the series, or just thing that I'm concerned about, I guess, and that is the sound effects, because there was a point in the animation that they showed where I think it's in the beginning where he's fighting Nids and he throws down his bolter and it sounds kind of like a Nerf gun hitting the floor.
It's not even a bolter, it's a storm bolter.
Yeah, it's a storm bolter, so it's it should be really heavy sounding. It should make a really big clanking metallic sound, or thud, and it just sounded like plastic hitting the ground. And so that was my only actual thing that made me go, ooh, pause there, that's a little weird, but everything else seemed amazing. And the thing that actually has me the most interested in this particular series of animations is this series or whatever, is the Imperial ship that is with the Blood Angels, with all of the Astartes that are the humans. Because oh my gosh, that whole sequence that we got to watch where they showed, the ship mistress and all of her crew and everything, that was amazing. I love seeing all of that in-world stuff. I loved the way that looked. I think that is a great representation of an actual Imperial ship, which is really cool, the interior of one, because I feel you don't get a huge amount of interior shots of ships. I know there's probably some in the old Fantasy Flight Rogue Trader books and everything, because they do ship design and there was a lot of stuff oriented towards ship controlling and the crew and everything like that in that. But I feel we haven't seen anything recently, or at least not in this way, and it looks so cool. So I'm really, really excited for this show. Now, let's go ahead and talk about where they're going to be aired. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button and let me know about it down in the comments. If you haven't already and you're wanting more content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon for notifications. And then if you want even more hobby goodness, make sure to follow me on Instagram or Twitter at hobby_night. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video. And last but certainly not least, we got an announcement of an announcement of the Warhammer Plus app, I'm supposing? They didn't actually say, but you might have noticed in all of the previews that we've shown that there was a Warhammer Plus logo that popped up, and they did spend a little bit of time talking about this during the presentation, and I want to go ahead and spend a little bit of time talking about it with you guys now because I'm interested, but I have some concerns. So, what we do currently know is that there is going to be another announcement where they're going to talk further about what exactly the Warhammer Plus thing is, and that will be on the 23rd of June. And they'll be doing a full reveal, so look forward to coverage there. Now, I'm expecting that this is intended, because of the name Warhammer Plus, to be a subscription service, much in the same way that like Netflix or Disney Plus are, and I don't know if GW actually has enough content to justify a subscription service, especially depending on how much it costs. Okay, I'm going to compare them now to the WWE, who had a network service that that no longer exists, I will be clear. And they basically, the WWE wanted to jump in on the subscription-based service for their programming. They launched the WWE Network, and it did okay for them for a little while, and then they sold it to Peacock. Well, WWE has been around for many, many years making television content.
They have pointed out WWE's network costs $9.99 a month.
Yes.
$10 a month.
$10 a month. And what this got you was many, many years of content, both from WWE as well as WCW, because they bought them, as well as a variety of other programming that they had purchased and picked up.
30 years of pay-per-views?
30 years of pay-per-views.
Weekly news shows.
Weekly other entertainment and like gag shows, comedy shows.
Disney's doing the same thing now.
Exactly. Disney's doing the same thing now, where they have a variety of bunch of different shows. And yes, Warhammer has been showing us these several animations, like, you know, a dozen or so animations that they're having planned, but that to me does not merit a subscription-based network unless perhaps it is going to include other content. Now, they did kind of imply this, but they didn't imply anything of what it might be.
They better be rolling in the army builder.
Exactly. Oops, I'm sorry. I just bumped my microphone. I'm so sorry about that noise. I completely agree. They better be rolling in the army maker and maybe like codexes or something. I don't know. Like, depending on what it costs, I just don't know if this is going to be worth it. Because if a company like WWE, who has all of this programming, who has active television shows, is currently still making product and has been making television product for this amount of, like, for 30 plus years, what is Games Workshop going to do with like 9 programs that are going to come out like how often or how regularly? We have been seeing previews for these animations for like several years now, which, don't get me wrong, I understand that stuff like this takes a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Things change. You know, people could leave the
How many hours of content is this actually going to be? Like, all these animations get done.
Exactly.
And you're going to have, let's be very generous.
Yeah, let's be generous.
10 hours, and 10 hours of animation, folks, is expensive if you don't know.
Yes,
and
incredibly.
I'm not going to pay a subscription service for just 10
hours of content. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm very interested in whatever this preview that's going to be on June 23rd is, because I don't have faith in this, which I don't like saying, because I want the teams that have been working on this animation project, like these animation projects, to get visibility. I want their stuff to be seen. I want these programs to be successful because I want to see more. I just don't know if this is the correct way for them to go about doing it, and I just question the idea of going into a subscription-based service potentially when I feel like in the news and stuff, those types of services are kind of in the decline anyways, which is why you're seeing so many of them consolidate into each other.
Because I would have expected them to be selling this to Amazon, Netflix,
yeah, like why didn't
ABC, I don't know.
Something. Like, why didn't you give it to an already existing streaming service so that all you have to do is like, hey, put it up here?
Well, you don't give it.
I mean, sell, you know what I mean. Like, not give it, but like, why not work out a deal with an already existing service rather than actually going and trying to make your own.
It is yet. To be fair, we're
That's
all
true.
just jumping the gun as I smack the camera.
That's true. It's true. I am jumping the gun and assuming that it's going to be a subscription-based service, but I'm sorry, the plus at the end, when Disney Plus is like one of the hottest subscription services right now, to me just says that's what they're doing, and that makes me scared because I'm like, okay, you don't have anybody else within this community like wargaming who's making animations to be able to bring into this. So, oh, what if that means that they're going to like bring some of the Warhammer TV content like on YouTube on a more like a different format or something? They did hire my arch nemesis, who I can't remember the name of right now. Like they did hire her to do some stuff, so maybe
she does stuff on Twitch, but you know, I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe they rehired Duncan and bring him back for the painting show.
Maybe something like that, but I don't know. It seems really weird to have what seems like a subscription service for not a lot to subscribe to. So go ahead and let me know what your feelings are on the comments below, as well as tell me how you're feeling about the actual Angels of Death animation that we've got in the scene, because those 7 minutes were pretty rad. All right, that has been it for Warhammer news this week. I have been Angela. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check back tomorrow where I will be painting up an orc for you guys from the newest Underworlds kit, the Mad Mob. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.